morning, YouTube, from freezing cold Massachusetts. I guess it's been freezing cold all over the country, but I'll dig right into it. So in this video, I'm gonna cover some of the ups and downs of working Amazon DSP. And I wanted to just preface this by saying that I've only worked for one DSP. I'm not gonna mention the DSP or the location, and I'm not in any way trying to bash Amazon DSPs overall. I'm just trying to put out my own personal opinion about the ups and the downs of working for Amazon DSP. You can also check out another video that I did. I will link it down in the description. And that actually covered why I enjoy working for DSP more than other applications such as DoorDash, Lyft, rideshare. So I've actually talked quite a bit positively, but for this specific video, I will talk about both ups and downs. So first off, I wanted to cover the downs, I guess, some of the downsides of working for DSP from my opinion. So like I said, I've only been working for a couple weeks, almost a month at this point, and there are definitely some downsides for sure. First off, I'm going to say very time sensitive, very much a time crunch. So we've been given very specific itineraries, and I found it to be hard to cover the itinerary in total, as well as take any breaks. For my DSP at least, and probably from a lot of them, I'm assuming you are encouraged and you're really supposed to take 2 15-minute breaks as well as a 30-minute lunch. One major downside that I've noticed so far is you really don't have time to do that. Now, I know people might chime in here and say that I'm just not organizing things good enough, but I have been doing this for closer to a month at this point, and I do actually believe that I'm organizing very quickly at this point. For the first few days that I was driving, I definitely was not organizing well, and I had to come up with a better pattern, but I'm organizing pretty quickly now. And typically when I come up to an address, I either already have the package or packages prepared, or I can find them very, very quickly. So I would not say that organization is a factor anymore, but the itineraries have been extremely hard. Now, I will also say this, that I'm working in Massachusetts. I know I said I'm not giving away locations. I'm not going to say the exact warehouse or the exact DSP, but I am working in Massachusetts. And it's been very cold. I think it's been extremely cold all over the country. In Massachusetts, it's been particularly cold. And we've also had a lot of ice on the walkways and the driveways and even a lot of the roadways. That has made it harder for the itinerary. So keep that in mind. If you're in an area that doesn't have ice and snow, you might not have as hard of a time as me potentially. But from my own experience from my DSP and my location, it has been difficult with the ice and the snow with the itinerary. So that, again, number one. Very time sensitive, not really much time to take a break. Number two, downside. I'm going to mention this. If you have to work in a university, I won't even mention the specific university, but I have had to work in different universities. That has been extremely difficult, very confusing. And from my experience, the customers very typically are not ordering to the correct location. So at least in the university that I had to work at, the packages are either supposed to go to an Amazon locker or to a specific mailroom. And what I notice is that about 90% of the time, customers are trying to order it to their dorm room. And as a DSP driver, you can't go there. But with the app, you pretty much have to follow the directions of the app. So even though I was able to figure out where a lot of these dorms are, which was very confusing and fairly chaotic, I still had to try to go to the dorm on the actual map, at least in terms of like driving as close as I could. Either that or I had to essentially call customer or driver support in advance, which takes time. So either way, long story short, universities has been an absolute mess trying to deal with Amazon DSP so far. So just keep that in mind. If you get universities, it might be a painful mess. Or you might experience some that are really easy. But from my experience, they've been extremely difficult. Number three, I'm going to say, that's three. Contacting driver support has been challenging. Now, that's not to say that I've had horrible experiences. Like, there's actually been a lot of very nice people that have picked up the phone. So I'm not trying to say that like the people who work there are bad or anything like that. But just in general, when you have to contact driver support, which does happen from time to time, or probably almost every day so far at some point because of various issues, it adds time to your itinerary and it makes things more stressful. So number three is going to be contacting driver support. And I'm going to say number four for a downside is just app issues that do happen. Now, I'm not going to say that, again, you can watch my other video. Again, I'll link it down here. The app for Amazon DSP, I would say, is absolutely way better than Lyft, than DoorDash, than GrubHub. But there are still issues, and you will still find that sometimes the app will not sync properly, or it will be delayed, or you might have to change the pin, which can be, there's a way to do it. You put your phone into airplane mode, and then you can change the pin that way. But it does take time, and those are all downsides. So there are some downsides to that. Now let's get into the pluses of DSPs, because I've talked probably a little bit too much about some of the downsides. There are pluses for sure. For one, and you know, this could be a downside for you, but for me, the physicality of the work, I'm going to say I do enjoy that. I am someone, if you followed my channel, you know that I'm really into physical fitness and running and lifting weights. So I actually consider that to be a plus, but keep that in mind that that might be a downside for you. It is a physical work. You do have to walk a lot. You do have to pick up a lot of packages. Some of them are fairly heavy. So I actually enjoy that. You might not. Number two, for the upsides of working, the pay, it hasn't been too bad so far. This could be a downside for you as well, depending on your situation. But, you know, for me, I've been making $23 per hour. It's been pretty decent. So I'm going to say that that's positive. Now, number three, positive, I think the people have been pretty nice, not just in the DSP that I'm working at, but also just the Amazon warehouse in general. And again, keep this in mind that I'm not putting out specific locations. So you might work for a warehouse and you might think that the people are awful and you might be like, this dude's video is the worst ever. But I'm just putting out my experiences and talking generally. I have actually been impressed with the different people who work in the different sections of the Amazon warehouse. I feel like 95% of the people or more have treated me with respect and kindness, and that includes my own DSP as well. So the number three there for the upside is definitely people. I feel like there's been a lot of nice and professional people working for the Amazon as well as the DSP. And it has made the workplace much better. And I'll try to throw in a number four here. Number four is also I've been getting 3 days off. So I work hard for 4 days, and then there's been 3 days off. I don't know how, if you were to sign up, your DSP might differ from mine, but at least from mine, I work 4 very time-sensitive and fairly stressful days, I'm not gonna lie, but then I get 3 days off. So those are my ups and my downs to Amazon DSP. If you enjoyed this video, let me know in the comments, or let me know if you disagreed as well. I'm going to read all the comments and I want to hear your feedback. And if you enjoy these types of videos talking about different career challenges and different things, I've had a lot of different careers. I've been an Army officer. I've worked, like I said in previous videos, I've worked for rideshare, Lyft, Uber Eats, GrubHub. I've done pretty much any gig economy app that you can think of. Now I'm doing Amazon DSP. I've worked in the National Park Service. I've worked as a photographer. I've worked for this awesome jungle movement academy down in Austin, Texas numerous times, and I've done all sorts of freelance work for photography. So I do have a lot of experience in different various aspects of the different economies around. So I figured I would talk about some of my experiences with that. So be sure to subscribe for more. And thank you guys, and stay warm out there in this cold spell. Cheers.